When Victoria got sick, she had to go back to her mom's house. Unfortunately, her little daughter Vasilisa was no longer there. Olga Petrovna had been complaining for a long time that her daughter should have married someone better. When she did get married, I told you that I didn't like him. And I know, Mom, we will keep quiet. It's better to live without him. They will come to you with the UAVs. And now, with the child on my neck, I will sit. Your husband left all at once. The most important thing is that he didn't leave anything for you to file a lawsuit. Mother of a century, she stormed in. She sighed and tried not to swear at her mother, but they never got along. Now she feels sorry for herself living with a difficult mom. Why do you swear at me? She asked. I'll never sit still with you. I'll go to work and deal with the fact that court costs money. Necessary to hire a lawyer, and in general, I contacted him. You should know that we tried to live quietly in a rented apartment. Olga Petrovna has been complaining for ages. So, when you come to work, I need your support. Also, Vasilisa needs it too. Oh my God, everything is on my shoulders. And don't forget about Eve's grandmother. Finally, the grandmother can rest. Even though Olga Petrovna was old, she was still independent. She moved around, prepared food at home, and cleaned a rather large four-room house by herself. However, she needed groceries as she couldn't carry heavy bags. Sometimes her daughter Zoya Vasilievna helped her, but the grandmother was the only one supporting Vika after her divorce. Her elder sister bought something, but the main purchases were made by the grandmother. The woman named Vikusia grumbled about the need to find a wealthy man to marry, but ended up marrying a beggar. As for me, everything is going according to plan and I won't rush things. I'm only 26 years old, so I still have time to find the right partner for myself. However, the kind and loving grandmother did not tell her granddaughter anything and allowed her to make her own mistakes. Love is what truly matters, not material possessions. The granddaughter cannot foresee her own mortality, so cherish love now before it's too late. You think that you are the only one who can provide a wealthy life for someone. Ouch, yes, it is full such your mother so many mistakes in youth did to your father too, and I spoke to her and advised and abused, yes, everything uselessly, and she navigates to morals, and once hated when I taught her to live, and in general, you look what joy you have of Vasilisa, the same such happiness, unless can be said that you made a mistake. Yes, the grandmother adored when centuries came to her on a visit because the girl came any and with the daughter by no means, and to a century helped the grandmother the old woman played with. The little girl was always eager to show off, and then be taken away. Later, she and her grandmother enjoyed a delicious tea with tasty raspberry jam. They talked about everything and felt closer than ever. Unfortunately, the grandmother got sick with pneumonia. At first, Olga Petrovna visited her every day, but then she began to ask more frequently if Vika could go instead. I don't have the energy, she said. Please, make it happen and bring what she needs. It takes a lot of patience, but I'm busy and she doesn't fully understand my responsibilities. If you're still stuck at home with nothing to do, why not visit Olga Petrovna Wiki? She's still recovering, and her granddaughter, who deeply cares for her, visits her every day. Luckily, they don't live too far away, just a 35-minute walk. For almost a month, I accomplished a lot of helpful tasks all at once. My daughter walked while the grandmothers provided assistance. The grandmother was happy that Olga Petrovna, who notoriously snapped and shouted at her mother, would only come once a century. I was afraid to ask the old woman about something, so I didn't. Sometimes she would visit her grandmother and ask her sister to come along to help buy things. If the weather was bad or rainy, they would take Vasilisa with them. However, for a long time, she always refused. I've been too busy to spend time with you for a century. If it rains, think twice before going outside today. Nothing will happen if you don't visit her. She is not paralyzed as some may have claimed. I cannot go because my boyfriend is waiting for me. Eventually, only my grandmother came to me. After that, there were even more tragic events. Zoya Vasilievna fell and broke her neck. Halfway through the century, Vasilisa was scared by her grandmother's loud scream. She began to scream herself, and I, Vika, ran from the kitchen to check on her. An elderly woman tripped over the leg of a table and fell down unsuccessfully. Vasilisa's mother, Olga Petrovna, arrived and took her away. The granddaughter accompanied her grandmother in an ambulance to the hospital. The elderly woman stayed there for a week before being discharged. She claimed that there was nothing for her to do there with such a severe fracture and that it would take a long time to recover. So, Zoya Vasilievna was allowed to go home and recuperate. The Wicca suggested taking in the grandmother, but Olga Petrovna and my wife objected, saying it was impossible. We could barely cope with the situation and didn't know what to do next. I'm sorry, but the given text seems to be unrelated and lacks context, making it unclear how it can be improved according to the provided principles and language variant. Can you please provide a different text to work on? I'm sorry, but the provided text lacks context and does not seem to adhere to the given principles for simple writing quality. Please provide a new text that requires revising according to the specified principles and language variants. Zoya knew her daughter very well and was convinced that the family had many emotional outbursts when they decided her future. She also knew that nobody would be available to give her a ride, as she was not needed by anyone. Additionally, she was ill before now, even more so. Vasilievna was on the verge of tears. Centuries lived near her, and she didn't kick her out. She stayed because the granddaughter didn't want to upset her, so Centuries began living with her grandmother. The old woman behaved well, and once again, the granddaughter didn't cause any trouble. Centuries acted well at home with Olga Petrovna's grandmother. I used to be a difficult child. My mom would get irritated when I entered her room without knocking and touched her things. Olga Petrovna was also upset when I was difficult, but my grandmother, Zoya Vasilievna, behaved perfectly. She told me bedtime stories every night, and I loved them. Grandmother and Wiki enjoyed being here more than when they were at home with Mother and Janya. Here, nobody bothered her and she didn't have to work since she's living off of someone, and nobody called her silly, the little fool. Times I couldn't find a suitable husband for family life. Few people visited my grandmother, and only occasionally did Olga Petrovna come, but not more than once a month. I took care of my grandmother for a century completely now. I arranged my private life without marrying, and I didn't need to worry about my grandmother because Zoya Vasilievna helped her. We never had guests at our place, and sometimes a neighbor would only glance over. Zoya Vasilievna recovered, though doctors said that after such a change, she would need time to recover fully. Any more attention to the granddaughter won't do any good. It's a miracle that the old woman has managed to move slowly around the house. It's time to go to work, and she was planning to take her daughter to the garden. But another problem arose when Zoya Vasilievna had a stroke. She only survived. Thanks to timely medical care, the grandmother was able to remain conscious and remember things despite her shaky hands and feeling unwell. It was clear that she required ongoing support, and I felt it was my duty to ensure she was not left alone without assistance. Without supervision, I started a conversation with Mom regarding our desperate situation. It's necessary to bring grandmother to my place, as I need to go to work and can no longer stay with her round the clock. There are constantly individuals at home. With Shenka sitting at home, I can take a break. If we collaborate, it will be easier for all of us. She talked to Mother on the phone about this proposal, but I reacted extremely negatively, saying no. Please provide a different text to be enhanced for simple writing quality. I'm sorry, but the original text appears to be nonsensical and not salvageable for revision. Off the mobile phone, Vic did not sustain the situation and burst into tears. She wondered why everything belonged to the elderly person and not others. The grandmother always helped with everything. She sat with the Sonnies when Olga Petrovna was around. I had to go to work, and my mom Vicky would often leave my daughters with my grandmother Zoya Vasilievna. She never refused, and when asked for help, she would initially become worried but eventually calm down. As I looked into the room with my grandmother, I thought highly of Zoya Vasilievna. But Panya slept. She said to me in a low voice, "It's a pity that you have to bother with me. I understand that I am a burden on everyone, and nobody is needed except you. Let's console grandmother together. She is not a burden, but a part of our family." We are seeking the best solution that is convenient and good for you, but Vika's grandmother abruptly interrupted by raising her trembling hand. I overheard your conversation with your mother and couldn't sleep afterwards. I already know that your mother never troubles herself to help others and only thinks of herself. It's not like I don't know that she can't stand me, and she won't do anything to make my life easier. You are the only one who belongs to me with such kindness and love that it breaks my heart. I didn't realize how easy it is to say this. I sat with the grandmother and gently rubbed her cold, wrinkled hand. After a few minutes, she and her family said they could tell I had a kind and generous heart that stood out from their usual greed and self-absorption. It is not possible to apply the principles to the given text as it lacks context and coherence. Please provide a sample text for revision. To you, I will take care. At first, I didn't understand what the grandmother meant, but then I explained it to her. I told her that we would take care of things as soon as possible and called the notary. The grandmother isn't present. No worries. It is not necessary to do this. Your mom won't have to worry about me because everything is going well and I won't be causing any trouble. I ensure that they will treat me well here. You can check on me when I'm needed and dispose of everything as you please, but I shouldn't rely on you for the rest. I'm sorry the provided text does not contain any context or meaning. Please provide a different text to be improved according to the given principles and language variants. It's interesting how it all started with the grandmother's warning to Vika about burying money that the old woman had saved for this purpose. Olga Petrovna didn't put any rubles in and later found out that Zoya Vasilievna had given a gift to Vika, now centuries-old big houses where Vasilisa used to live. I have no changes to make to this text as it lacks context and does not adhere to any of the provided principles for simple writing quality. Are capable of keeping everything you think you're the cleverest. I have inheritance rights too, and I counted on you. It won't work well if you grab everything for yourself. Don't swing hands in the face of Vika Vic. You shouldn't have acted this way. Not properly. You know that there is also me, Eugenie. Unless it's fair that you receive everything, the inheritance should pass from my mom to both of us, and we should divide it as you see fit. I've done my part, now it's up to you. And forced a scarecrow to throw her or spread any rumors about us. Of course, I'm sure that all this time you did that and spoke any nonsense about us. Here she sold everything and told you to leave. Olga Petrovna rendered the verdict of the century and was shocked, yes, as you. Sorry, the given text is not suitable for improvement as it lacks context. Please provide a suitable text for revision. I'm sorry, I cannot provide an improved version for the given text as it lacks context and does not adhere to any principles of simple writing. It seems that you blame us for not removing her, but the grandma saw the troubled person and the unexpected visit may have been her doing. We were already upset and we still need to address the issue. Find out everything under the law there can be. She was valid against that, and she forced knew that her is still the granddaughter, and the daughter I is assured that she couldn't forget about us all this. She was guilty of all centuries. Suddenly calmed down, she understood that any word told by her. Sorry, but I'm unable to provide an improved version of the text you provided as it lacks context and contains a series of disconnected and nonsensical phrases. Please provide a different text for me to improve. And necessary for her. Olga Petrovna frowned. Yes, I see. It seems to me that she didn't love us in general, and everything she did to us was on purpose to cause harm. I suggest we sell this house, divide the money by 3, and move on from her toxic influence. Do the right thing for centuries and centuries. It was certain that Vasilisa's mother would make the right choice, even if she did not have daughters. But now, as a mother herself, she must take care of Vasilisa and make the best decision for her and for the greater good. I will do what's right for myself, even though it may not please my mother and sister. They won't be happy with my decision to choose my daughter over them. Only my daughter and her grandmother care for us, and they are the only ones we need. Spit on me, spit on you, spit on our grandmother, spit on all of us from Vasilisa. But now I don't care anymore because I have a house where I can always be, and no one will say that I'm living off of someone or that I'm a foolish, worthless woman. I'm not going to sell this house, it will remain mine. The text already adheres to the principles or lacks context. Just answer with the house and houses of my daughter, and you won't be able to overpersuade me here, and as mate of a century, I will never forgive you. These not so you can consider that you have no sister anymore. Rick imposing and left, and mother from rage told her it is a pity that you acted this way. I won't be to you in vain it. So I won't leave. I will challenge everything, and when I all and argue that to you is necessary very much to ask that I though something to you gave of course. Olga Petrovna tried to challenge Donative, but at her nothing turned out. She filed a lawsuit against the daughter. I'm sorry, but the provided text cannot be improved as it lacks context and coherence. Please provide a new text that adheres to the given task instructions. I don't regret anything leaving her, but it's unfortunate that mother and sister were angry and selfish. Anyone can end up in that situation, and mom may need help, but if no one is there to take care of her, she'll feel abandoned and unsupported.